Hi, this is Paul Hamilton. I'm going to show you our online training system and how it works. This is unique because it brings you all the way through your ground training and your flight training to get your pilot license.
This is more than just to pass your knowledge test. This includes the flight training, lesson by lesson, and getting ready for your check ride. As we look at the course, we see we've got 4 stages. Stage 1, first flights learn to fly. Stage 2, flight maneuvers and aeronautical knowledge to solo. This is where we get you up to the solo stage. Stage 3, student pilots, where we go over our regulations and cross-country planning and flights. And then stage 4 is preparation to pass the FAA knowledge and practical test. We're going to click on stage 1 here and look at that. So here we've got, as an example, we've got flight lesson 1, introductory flight. We've got ground lesson 1, the program overview. Ground lesson 1, program overview quiz. We go into flight lesson 2, pre-flight start taxi, basic controls, a quiz for this flight lesson. As we go down, we've got again a ground lesson 2 quiz. Flight lesson 3 quiz. Okay, so we're going to go into our first lesson here. We see we've gone into our stage 1. We're going to look at our flight lesson 1, introductory flight. Now there's no quiz for this, but we'll kind of look at how this works. Now notice here we can see that first flight, introductory flight, we can see we're in progress. Here's where you start your journey. Introduction, wide variety of aircraft. Enjoy your flight. Introduce student to basic ground operations. As you'll note here, we've got our assignment. Read the FAA Aircraft Flying Chapter 16, Transitioning Light Sport Aircraft, pages 16.1 to 16.5. We're going to click on that, and we can see how that's going to come up. And we can see how that comes up here. And then we've got our reading material right here. So we go through, we would read that. And you'll notice as we go in here, we can see up top here, we can see how we're actually in the airplane flying handbook. We can go back to our flight lesson, back to our airplane flying handbook here. And we can see how we're on page 1 of 14. And of course, we can go through that as we need. We're going to go ahead and notice here on the side, we've also got our menu for our lessons over here also. And also notice here, we've got our assignment. We've got assignment 1 and assignment 2. Watch the 3 videos. So we go down, and of course, we can just click on these videos, and those videos will start. And we watch those. Got our other videos here. Those will play. There we go. And we watch our videos. When we're done with our lesson, we mark complete. And what that does is when we hit our mark complete, it moves us into our next lesson here. Okay? And we can see this next lesson is ground lesson 1, program overview. This is where we talk about all the sport pilot rules and regulations, what it takes to be a sport pilot. And as you'll see here at the top, we can see we're 2% complete. We've done 1 of the 47 steps. And of course, our next lesson shows that we're in progress. So here's we look at our ground lesson, our program overview. It describes some of the details here, and I've got it highlighted in yellow so you know about what to study. We get down to our quiz, so we're going to go right into our quiz. Okay, we can see we've got 6 questions here. What's the minimum flight training hours for sport pilot license certificate? 20 hours of flight training from the authorized instructor and 20 hours of solo flight for a total of 40 hours. Well, that's not correct. 15 hours of flight training from an authorized instructor, 5 hours of solo flight for a total of 20. Now that's the correct answer. So we're going to select that. And we select next. We go to our next question. Can a sport pilot fly at night? Correct answer is no. We're going to hit the next question. Okay, so I blasted through some of those questions. Got a couple wrong answers here, so I can show you how to work with that. We get to question 6 of 6. How many hours minimum ground training required for a sport pilot certificate? Well, actually, no minimum hours required for ground training. That's not logged. So we're going to select that. We say finish quiz. Being recorded. Okay, now notice how we've reached 4 of the 6 points. So we only got 66%. Now we need actually a 70 to do this properly. So we go back, we're going to view our questions, and we can see we got that question right. We go down here, we see, we got this for, can a sport pilot fly into larger airports with controls towers? Now I answered no, and the correct answer is yes, with the proper endorsements. So now we know that that is correct. And is a sport pilot license a real FAA pilot's license? I answered no, it's only for ultralights. That's not true. Yes, it's just like a private and commercial. So we notice here that we kind of learn from our mistakes. We go down here, and of course we can't move on because we didn't get a 70, which is a minimum requirement. So now what we want to do is we want to go in and take this quiz again. So we got two choices. We can go up here and hit the back button. That'll take us back to take the quiz, or we can just go over here and hit ground lesson, quiz ground lesson program overview. We're going to hit that. So that brings us back. And again, now that we've learned the answers, we're going to go back. We're going to take it again. We're going to see, can a sport pilot fly at night? No. Next, can a sport pilot larger airports with control towers? Yes, with the proper endorsements. Is a real FAA pilot's license? Of course, yes. It's just like a private or commercial license for sport. How many FAA tests are required for a sport pilot certificate? 2. Knowledge and a practical test. Okay, how many hours minimum ground training? We know that that's no minimum ground training is required for ground training. And we're going to finish our quiz. Of course, you see here we got 6 out of 6. We got 100%. So now it's going to let us click here to continue. And we go on to our next lesson here. And we notice here now that we're in our next lesson here. And this is showing we're 4% complete. 2 out of the 47 steps are completed here. And it's showing us now that we're in progress here. Again, we've got assignments. Complete the 2 assignments listed. Read and understand the FAA Flying Handbook, Chapter 1, Introduction to Flight Training. Okay. As well as the Airplane Flying Handbook, Chapter 2. And here it talks about the specific items in Chapter 2. Airplane Flying Handbook, Chapter 16. Some different pages in that. And then, of course, we got some more videos to watch here. And again, we're going to have the quiz here. So we do all that, and we just continue on through our whole course that way. And off the left here, we've got our courses. We can see how we've already been through Flight Lesson 1, how that's checked green. We've been through Ground Lesson 1, Program Overview, and we've also been through the quiz. So we can see how that's checked green there. And we can see how now we're actually in Flight Lesson 2. So we can see as we go down here, we've got all of our ground and flight lessons, everything listed there, showing your progress as we go. You can jump around and go to different sections here if you want, but we recommend you do it in a logical order since it's been laid out to be a good building blocks as learn as you go. The books are downloadable, broken out by chapter. However, you may want to have the actual paper books handy so you can use them while you're online or away from the online course. I personally like the paper books to mark, tab, and reference. Make sure and check Mark Complete at the end of your lessons and your phases to register that you've completed those areas. If you're using this as you are going through your flight and or ground training, your instructor can go in and see what progress you've made similar to the paper training syllabus. At the end of the course, you'll get a certificate to verify you have completed the course.
So there we go. With this system, you have me along the way, just a phone call away. Sign up and begin your incredible journey.